adventures of Charlie Chan. Charlie Chan has gone from Honolulu to the island of Maui in pursuit of Morton Rand, head of the notorious international syndicate, who has stolen a magnificent ruby, the Eye of Buddha, from Timothy Eden, millionaire jewel merchant of San Francisco. Rand is hiding out on the cattle ranch of Malcolm Boyd, another leader of the gang, and as neither Boyd nor Rand know Charlie Chan by sight, he believes himself comparatively safe in his disguise as Ah Kim, a Chinese cook. But Chan is recognized by Whitey Burke, one of Rand's henchmen.
Ah Kim, nothing. He's Charlie Chan.
Before Charlie can make a move, Boyd covers him with a gun.
Reach for the ceiling, quick.
What's the matter, boss? Me no understand.
But you will understand before we're finished. Tie him up, Whitey.
What'll I use?
Anything, you fool. Your belt, that sash around his waist. Work fast.
Okay, boss. Keep him covered, Boyd.
Don't worry, Whitey.
Yeah, now. Now search him.
Yeah, let me take care of that. Here you are. A 45 up his sleeve.
How fortunate. When they find you, Inspector, it will be with your hand clutched round your own gun and with powder marks on your forehead. We must see to it, Whitey, that the shot is fired at close range. A clear case of suicide, they'll say, and we shall try to think of it that way. And then our consciences will be clear, because we didn't have anything to do with it. Did we, boy?
Oh, what's the use of all that chatter? Let me slip it to him now and get it over with.
That, my dear Boyd, is your greatest trouble. You're inclined to hasty action without sufficient forethought. Don't you agree with me, Inspector Chan?
Regret exceedingly inability to do so. When jig is up, why tire feet with additional dancing?
Well, there may be something in what you say. Well, Boyd, if you insist.
Hey, wait a minute.
What is it?
The real cook, Sing Hua. If he palmed Chan off on us as his cousin, that means that
He's onto it, too. Come on, Boyd, we'll see.
Look, there goes Sing Hua now. But we'll get him.
Whitey, watch Charlie Chan. If you let him get away...
He won't get away.
Come on, Boyd.
Good luck, Boyd. Well, Mr. Ah Kim, you've certainly cooked up a fine mess for yourself this time.
Regretfully compelled to admit truth of statement. Originally planned to confine culinary activities to everyday articles of diet. Instead, seem to have cooked own goose.
I'll say you have. Just as soon as they knock over that slant-eyed pal of yours, Boyd and the boss will be back here, and then, well, them felt slippers you're wearing look nice. But I wouldn't want to be in them.
appreciate your solicitude, but wish to quote to you from writings of great Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu, who tells that many who send regrets to sick man will die before he does.
It's no use, Charlie. You're power and you know it. But if it makes you any happier to pull a lot of them Chinese proverbs out of your head...
Mr. Whitey, have you ever seen man hanged?
Huh?
I repeat, have you ever seen man hanged?
No. Why?
I did, once.
What's that got to do with it?
It was most unhappy experience, one which I have tried very hard to erase from memory. Unfortunately, cannot do so.
Yeah? What do you mean?
Guards come to cell of condemned man who has spent terror-haunted night listening to crash of testing gallows. They bring priests to administer last rites and spiritual consolation. Then begin slow walk down corridor and into prison yard where a scaffold stands.
All right. Never mind the rest of it.
Unfortunate wretch I saw was in truly pitiful plight. Nerve was completely gone.
He lost his nerve, huh?
Guards were compelled to carry him, gibbering like idiots between them, down corridor, across prison yard, and up steps leading to scaffold, where hangman awaited.
The hangman?
Cap is placed overhead. Priest whispers last few words, then noose is adjusted.
Cut it, James. Cut it, I tell you.
If you have never seen hanging, Mr. Whitey, then you have never seen hangman's noose.
Noose?
Hangman's noose with its strange knot made of 8 heavy coils.
Yeah? What's that for?
When trap is sprung, an unhappy sinner makes final atonement. Knot is designed to strike behind ear and break neck, bringing merciful relief of quick death.
Quick, eh?
Unfortunately, same not always occurring. Hangman bungle job on execution eyewitness.
Huh?
Poor wretch dangle there, slowly strangling to death.
Strangling?
Face distorted with agony. Limbs twitching.
Cut it. Cut it, I tell you, Charlie. I can't stand it. I can't.
Brave man does not fear death, Mr. Whitey.
Oh.
But hanging our most terrible end of all. And that are what most inevitably befall you.
No. No.
Unless you assist me now. If you do so, guarantee you lightest penalty for all past misdeeds.
Yeah?
But if I die, day must come when you and Mr. Morton Rand and Mr. Boyd must pay. And pay as I have described, on gallows.
No. Not hanging. Not that. I can't. Here. Let me cut them things that's tying you. There.
That is infinitely better. Only animal who has known relentless grip of trap truly appreciates freedom.
Come on, we gotta get going, Charlie. If they get back before we're...
Suggest you first return to me revolver, which Mr. Boyd has so ignominiously removed.
Here you are. Now let's blow.
Must humbly decline to do so.
Huh?
Suggest same as exceedingly wise course of conduct for you, Mr. Whitey. Secure boat. Return to Honolulu. I shall meet you there at my office 3 days from today at 10 o'clock in morning. Unless my plans miscarry.
Your plans? What are you going to do?
Intend to remain here and prepare happy surprise for Mr. Morton Rand and Mr. Boyd upon their return.
Blast Singwar's eyes. He was just lucky enough to grab the fastest horse at the hitching rack. That's how he got away.
Call it luck if you want to, my dear Boyd. I attribute it to Oriental wisdom, a wisdom which is far deeper than ours.
Yeah? Well, if you ask me, Charlie Chan wasn't so all-fired wise.
Charlie Chan is brave to the point of being foolhardy, a quality which can be very disastrous to its possessor, as he has now learned.
You said it.
But don't underestimate his capabilities, Boyd. I'm not what you might call a nervous man. I'm going to sleep a lot easier at night when I know that Charlie Chan is finally and definitely disposed of.
Disposed of? That's certainly a neat way of putting it. Say, how you going to handle it?
As the saying goes, with neatness and dispatch. One deftly placed bullet, a nice clean getaway, and then...
All them places you was telling me about, huh?
And more besides.
Say, how much you figure that Eye of Buddha ruby is worth, anyway?
What we can get for it.
Yeah, but how much is that in cash?
That all depends on how badly somebody wants it. And I have an idea that our good friend Mr. Eden wants it very badly indeed.
That's a hot one. Selling Eden his own property back. I'd never have figured out that angle.
As a matter of fact, the thought just came to me. Why should we go seeking a market when we have a buyer right at hand?
I gotta hand it to you, Rand. You got plenty of brains.
And I use them.
Well, here we are. Oh, boy. Oh, there. Here, let me take your horse. I'll tie him up at the hitching rack, and then
Wait a minute. Don't dismount.
What's the matter?
How many horses were at the rack when we started after Singwa?
Well, let me see now. I think there was 4.
Yes?
The roan and the sorrel and the pinto.
Well,
and...
only 3 now. The sorrel is gone.
Say, that's the horse Burke was using.
There's something up, Boyd. If Whitey has double-crossed us,
Look! Over there in the doorway.
Charlie Chan!
How do you do, gentlemen? Unfortunately, Mr. Whitey called away upon important business, so I'm compelled to receive you single-handed. Please dismount. Quickly, but moving carefully. I have exceedingly nervous trigger finger.
Why, you dirty...
Sorry for poor Mr. Malcolm Boyd. Should not have tried to draw guns. You will please dismount?
With pleasure, Mr. Chan.
Giddy up, boy.
Oh, no, you...
Better luck next time, Charlie.
Sorry to have missed you, Mr. Rand. But you may rest assured there will be a next time.
So Charlie Chan's perilous visit to the island of Maui was all in vain, for once again Morton Rand has escaped the avenging hand of the law. Be sure to listen to the next exciting chapter of The Adventures of Charlie Chan. of Charlie Chan. Based on the character created by Earl Derr Biggers. Effort to recover a magnificent ruby known as the Eye of Buddha from Morton Rand, who had stolen it from wealthy Timothy Eden, Charlie Chan tracks Rand from Honolulu to his hideout at the cattle ranch of Malcolm Boyd on the island of Maui. Disguised as Ah Kim, a Chinese cook, Chan hopes to regain possession of the stone and slip away undetected. But he is recognized, captured, and left under guard. Regaining his freedom by a trick, he tries to arrest Rand and Boyd. In the fight which follows, Boyd is badly wounded, but Rand escapes. As our scene opens, Chan is kneeling beside Boyd, who is just regaining consciousness.
So sorry it were necessary to get you, Mr. Boyd, instead of Morton Rand. Happy to inform, however, that investigation disclosed damage to be comparatively unimportant. Mere wound in shoulder, which with proper care will soon heal.
Well, you got me, Chan. Now, what are you going to do with me?
After I have completed dressing wound, we shall return to Honolulu. There, I am afraid, you will have to answer for wrongdoings.
You're not going to take me like this, are you?
Reluctantly compelled to do so.
But I can't go...
Did contemplate remaining in attempt to track down Mr. Morton Rand, but now realize that there are infinitely subtler ways of accomplishing same. Therefore, must leave this unwholesome vicinity with all possible speed. There. Wound temporarily taken care of, with necessary apologies for strictly amateur surgery. Now, must request your cooperation in putting you into saddle.
Chan, you can't do this to me.
Not only can, but will.
But listen now.
Unless cooperation is instantly forthcoming, will be reluctantly compelled to use sterner methods.
Okay. You win.
Put foot in step.
Take it easy there.
Now, other foot. Now that are accomplished, comes still greater task. Must now, completely unaided, manage to hoist my unwieldy bulk into saddle of unfortunate horse. Hey, there are times when I feel certain I have select wrong profession. Energy expended equal to toiling for a full day with pick and shovel. Now, Mr. Boyd, please, start your horse in direction of town.
Get up.
You and
Come on.
I have
Come on.
important engagement in Honolulu.
Meanwhile, Commissioner Williams has been a dinner guest at the home of Timothy Eden on the beach at Waikiki. And now, as they linger over their coffee, there is much discussion concerning the outcome of Charlie Chan's perilous visit to the island ranch of Malcolm Boyd.
I have the most awful premonition. A feeling that something terrible is wrong.
Nonsense, Nancy.
Just the same, I tell you.
You don't mean you're losing faith in Chan.
No, but I don't see how he can possibly.
I've worked side by side with Inspector Chan for years, Miss Adams, and I've never seen a nervier man in an emergency. Or a cooler one.
But one man, single-handed, against a gang like that. Oh, you shouldn't have let him go, Inspector.
You don't know Charlie, Miss Adams. He has his own way or else. If I'd forbidden him to go, he'd have resigned from the department and gone on his own hook. And when he came back...
You say when he came back. When what you really mean is if he came back.
Nancy, I don't see why you take such a pessimistic attitude.
Neither do I.
I promise you this much, Miss Adams. If anything's happened to Charlie, I'll make Morton Rand and Boyd and his entire outfit awfully hard to find.
And I'll promise you something, Commissioner. If you don't, I'll charter a plane myself and bomb that whole crooked crew right off the face of the earth.
Hear that, Danny? And that's the girl you're trying so desperately to marry.
You can laugh if you want, but I'm thinking more of Charlie. After all, he is a married man with a wife and 10 children.
11, Miss Adams.
Oh,
Well, that reminds me, Mr. Eden.
Yes, Commissioner?
Just before I left my office, I had a call from Lee Chan.
The youngster that was with us at the Maritime Hotel?
That's the one. He's Charlie's oldest boy. And he's as bright as a steel trap. Said he had to see me. I didn't want to delay your dinner, Mr. Eden, so I told him to meet me here. I wouldn't have done it except that he insisted it was important and that it had something to do with your jewel, the Eye of Buddha.
I'm glad you did, Commissioner. Of course, you can understand how anxious I am to get the stone back.
I certainly can, sir.
I told you some of the things that have happened to me since owning the ruby. Well, I had a cable from the mainland today.
was it bad news, Daddy Eden?
Harvey James is seriously ill.
Uncle Harvey. Why didn't you tell me, Daddy Eden?
I didn't want to worry you, dear.
What's the matter with him, sir?
Once again, the doctors are fumbling in the dark. They don't know. He just grows weaker and weaker. And they're afraid they can't save him.
Oh, no.
Who is this Harvey James, Mr. Eden?
My oldest and most trusted employee. He's been the general manager of Eden and Company for many, many years. I don't know what I'd do without him.
Supposing for a moment that there is something in this story about the curse that's supposed to follow the jewel, why should it strike at him?
Strangely enough, Harvey was the man who began the negotiations which led to its final purchase.
Excuse, please, but Mr. Lee Chan here to see Commissioner Williams.
No reason why I shouldn't talk to him right here, is there, Mr. Eden?
None at all. Show him in, Mondo.
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't it be strange if Chan had taken his life into his hands all for nothing?
What do you mean, Danny?
Well, it's just possible, you know, that he's on a wild goose chase. Maybe the jewel isn't where he thinks it is.
Things like that happen every day in our business, Mr. Rand. We get a hot tip, travel 1,000 miles to track it down, and while you're doing it...
Mr. Lee Chan.
Oh, come in, Lee. Glad to see you.
Hello, Commissioner.
You know Miss Nancy Adams.
How do you do?
And Mr. Eden and Mr. Dennis Rand, don't you?
Oh, sure. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Well, Lee, what's it all about? You sounded pretty excited when you called me.
I got a line on a guy that knows plenty about the ruby, Commissioner.
Where did you get it?
Well, sir, I was in a place this afternoon.
What sort of place?
Oh, just, Commissioner, just a place.
I'm waiting, Lee.
Well, sir, I was playing pool in Fu Wong's joint. Place.
I thought your father told you not to play pool.
Well, he did, kinda.
And I also thought he told you to stay away from places like Fu Wong.
Yeah, but don't you see, Commissioner, if I hadn't gone there, I'd have never found the Eye of Buddha.
You found the jewel?
Well, not exactly, but I know who's got it.
You do?
And that ain't all. I know where he lives.
Nice work, kid.
All right, Lee. Spill it.
Well, I was playing pool with Jimmy Young and Harry Key and a couple other fellas when a funny-looking gink comes in and starts talking to Fu Wong.
What do you mean, funny looking?
Well, he was big and fat with an awful red face, and he had a derby hat tilted down over one eye, and he was smoking a cigar. The moment I look at him, I know there's something phony about him, so I don't say anything to the fellas, but I just put up my cue and ease over to where I can hear what they're saying.
And what were they saying?
The big guy stalls around for a couple of minutes, and then he tells Fu Wong that he's a pal of Marty Harris, and that Marty Harris has told him that Fu Wong is the right guy.
Oh.
Fu Wong never tips his mid. He just listens, and pretty soon this bird comes right out in the open.
Yes?
He asks Fu Wong if he can wise him up to where he can get rid of a hot hunk of jewelry. Fu Wong says what kind of jewelry, and the gink tells him a ruby.
Wonderful.
Yes? Yes, and then what happened?
Fu Wong is still playing dumb, see? So he tells this bird that maybe he can do something and maybe can't, and where can he reach him if he wants to talk to him? So the gink tells him his name and where he's living.
Could you hear what he said?
I sure could, Mr. Eaton. His name is Dan Marvin, and he's living at the Maritime Hotel.
Uh-oh.
That awful place again.
What'll we do now, Commissioner?
Excuse, please. Inspector Chan is here.
Charlie!
Now we'll get someone.
Bring the inspector right in, Mondo.
Yes, sir.
You see, Nancy, what a lot of time you wasted worrying?
You don't ever have to worry about my pop, Miss Adams. He's the antelope's adenoid.
Return of unworthy self calls for such extreme jubilation.
We're mighty glad to
Oh,
see you.
Inspector Chan,
Hello,
I'm so happy
Inspector.
that you're back.
What luck?
Before narrating tale of journey, must first inquire reason for presence here of my insignificant number one son, Lee Chan.
Lee's just brought us some great news, Inspector.
Ah, the gods have method of their own of balancing scales. News which I bring are most unhappy. Mr. Morton Rand have escaped.
Don't let it worry you, Pop. We've located the ruby.
Permit me to inquire where.
Lee says there's a man at the Maritime Hotel trying to dispose of a hot stone.
Who is this man, please?
His name is Dan Marvin, Pop.
Same are not familiar to me.
Well, we'll find out soon enough who he is. But now tell us something about yourself, Charlie.
Wait a moment. Have you had your dinner yet, Inspector?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, Inspector Chan, how thoughtless of us. You must let me get you something
I'm
at
most
once.
grateful for gracious offer of hospitality, but am compelled to reject same. Do not wish to interrupt joyful social evening, but must suggest we pay immediate visit to Mr. Dan Marvin at Maritime Hotel.
Again, the trail leads to the Maritime Hotel. First Deacon Jessup, then Morton Rand, and now Dan Marvin, all connected with this sinister spot. Through his son Lee, it looks as though Charlie Chan is really on the hot trail of the jewel. And above all, don't fail to listen to the next exciting episode of The Adventures of Charlie Chan.